Everyone says that if you're not consistent, you just don't want it badly enough. Well, that's wrong. You see, if you're over 40 and you wake up with that Sunday dread, you're carrying that soul-sucking career on one shoulder and then everyone else's needs on the other, let me explain to you why you're not lazy. You're just carrying more than anyone is giving you credit for. You see, if you're in your second season of life, you feel like you should be further along. I feel you. I hear that so much. If you've tried to build something online, posted a few times, bought a course, started and stopped, and you quietly told yourself, maybe I just don't have the discipline, then you're not alone. Now, you've probably watched some 25-year-olds pumping out content every day, and you've asked yourself, what is wrong with me? Nothing. Now, I left the police at 34. I job hopped for a few years trying to find myself. And then I built my first £126,000 business in my first year. I've been running Big Daddy Digital for 12 years, and I've done over 500 discovery calls with people over 40 who are trying to start something new. And here's what I've seen every single time. This issue isn't discipline, it's load. You see, there's this quiet narrative that if you really wanted it, you'd just be consistent. I'm sure you've heard that loads. But that advice hits differently when you're over 40. Because, let's face it, at 20, starting out means a laptop and ambition. But at 45, that means a mortgage, kids, aging parents, a body that literally doesn't bounce back the same anymore, a career that drains you before you've even opened your laptop at night. And let's not forget the financial pressures that mean every hour that you invest has to count. And when you can't match the output of someone carrying none of that, you go and call yourself lazy or a failure. I'm here to tell you that's not a character flaw. That's an unmeasured load. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why your capacity isn't broken. Your context is heavier than most people starting out have literally ever had to carry. And once you see that clearly, you're going to stop blaming yourself. You're going to start making decisions that actually fit in with your real life. So come and hang out with me for a while so I can share the steps that's going to change everything for you. So here's what nobody tells you about this discipline thing. You're not lazy. You're carrying more than a 25 or 20-year-old has ever had to. And on those 500 plus discovery calls that I mentioned earlier, I've never met anyone over 40 who has lacked work ethic. I've met exhausted teachers with 20 years in and nothing left to give. I've met corporate managers literally running on empty, waking up with a sweat on at 6 a.m. People quietly caring for 6 parents while they're trying to hold down a career. Heck, my wife has even done that one. People who've built incredible things for other people and their businesses, but literally have nothing left over for their own. They weren't undisciplined. They were overloaded. Which tells me that the problem isn't your character, it's just an unmeasured weight. And if you don't measure the weight, you just keep mistaking it for weakness. Because let's face it, you've been sold the guru advice by every 20-year-old kid who bought 100,000 followers on Instagram and called himself a coach. Now, let me show you something that I use with every client that I work with. I call it the Load Audit. Now, there's 3 steps, 15 minutes, and it changes the way you see yourself completely. So let's dive into step 1. Most people never write down what they're actually carrying. They just feel tired. But feeling tired and naming the load are 2 completely different things. I had a call recently with a lady called Helen. She relocated to Bulgaria and was trying to build something online and kept saying to me, maybe this is just a waste of my time. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this thing. When I asked her to write down everything she was carrying, the relocation stress, the family expectations, financial pressures, a new country, the isolation of starting somewhere unfamiliar, something started to shift. She went quiet for a moment and then said, I hadn't realized how much I was holding. See, that's when your shame drops, literally immediately. Not because of anything's changed, but because the weight has finally been made visible. When you name the weight, it stops feeling like a personality flaw. But here's what nobody tells you. Most people who try to be more consistent measure their available time. 8 hours in a job, 2 hours in the evening. That sounds workable, right? But time and energy are not the same thing. For example, Sean came to me after years of stop-start cycles. He tried 4 different business ideas, always starting strong, but always fading out. He thought it was an information problem, that he hadn't found the right strategy or method yet. But when we sat down and actually mapped out his energy, not his diary, his energy, the picture was completely different. His job wasn't just 8 hours, it was 8 hours of emotional output. So by the time he got home, he had maybe 20% left in the tank. And he was trying to build a business on 20%. And he said to me, to Stephen, I've been setting goals based on a version of me that doesn't exist on a Wednesday night. You see, when you measure the energy cost, not the hours, you stop setting goals based on a fantasy capacity, and you start working with the version of yourself that actually shows up at the end of a real day. Now, is this something that's resonating with you? Please let me know in the comments how you're feeling about all this. And stay with me, because step number 3 is where this will really start to land with you. You see, a 25-year-old with no responsibilities can post daily, can record 4 videos in a weekend, can reply to every comment, can even show up consistently with full tanks. But that's not your game, and it was never supposed to be. When Teddy came to me, he was 56. He kept saying he felt like he was building an online business. It was like kids stuff, like it was a world that wasn't built for someone like him. So one day in the Heartbrand Creator Circle, we didn't change his strategy, we changed his expectation. He wasn't behind because he couldn't do what a 25-year-old did. He was behind because he was measuring himself against someone with a completely different load. See, once he adjusted his output target to match his real life, not Instagram's version of it, consistency stopped being a fight. And I remember him saying to me, I thought I needed more discipline. Turns out I just needed more permission. When your expectations match your context, consistency becomes so much more sustainable. Not because you've found a hack, but because you've stopped fighting your own reality. So here's something I want you to do. Before you close this video, just take a simple piece of paper and write down everything that you're carrying that a 25-year-old starting out doesn't have, okay? Let's be really, really specific. Mortgage, kids, those aging parents again. A health issue that you manage quietly. That's certainly one for me. A job that takes more than hours out of you. Maybe even financial pressures that sit in the background of every decision you have to make right now. And next to each one, write high, medium, or low, based on your energy cost, not time, your energy. Then look at the whole list and ask yourself this one single question. Given this, what is actually realistic for me right now? That's it. 15 minutes. Make the invisible weight visible. See, when you can see what you're carrying, you stop blaming your character for something that was never about your character. Now, you might be thinking one of 2 things right now, and I can literally feel it coming through the lens. Now, the first one is You don't have time. And I hear this every week. And you know what? I believe you genuinely. But here's what I've noticed on over 500 discovery calls. The people who say they had no time were still scrolling on LinkedIn, still scrolling Facebook, still watching other people build, still researching tools they never even opened. You see, the time exists. It's just going somewhere that isn't building anything. This audit doesn't ask for more time. It asks for 15 minutes of honesty. That's a different thing entirely. Then there's the second challenge, isn't there? I've left it too late. I've missed the boat. Is that how you're feeling? Let me know in the comments. You see, your credibility isn't in spite of your years. It is your years. The experience economy rewards age, the wisdom, the pattern recognition, the ability to actually help someone through something because you've lived it. You can't fake that, and you certainly can't buy it. You don't need to compete with these 25-year-olds. You need to build something that only someone with your experience can build. That's not being behind. That's being positioned. You see, today wasn't about pushing harder. It was about seeing clearly. You're not lazy. You never were. You are carrying more than anyone measured, including yourself. Now, if this has landed, I've created something that takes this further. It's called the Hidden Asset Finder. It's my free gift to you for watching this video. It's a free tool, 10 questions, takes about 10 minutes, and by the end you'll know exactly what online business you should build first based on your real experience. Not a template, not someone else's blueprint, yours. Now, there's a link in the description. It's completely free. There is nothing to buy. And if the next question on your mind is, but I still don't know what to even build, the next video is exactly for you. Because once you stop calling yourself lazy, the real question becomes, what do I do with everything I'm actually carrying?